Thank you all for coming today. My name is Dr. Yvette Bordeaux, and I am the director of the Master of Science in Applied Geosciences here at the University of Pennsylvania. And today I would like to tell you a little bit about the program. I have a bunch of slides, but at any time, if you have a question, please, you can put it right in the chat room. I think there's like a Q&A room that you can type questions. And we have here today Sally Carty, who is our administrative director, and she will also be answering questions in the chat room as we go along and shouting out questions that would be helpful for everyone. So Sally, thanks for coming today.
You're welcome. Hi, everybody.
And Lizzie is also here. She's in our recruitment staff, and she is also available for questions throughout. And thanks for coming, Lizzie.
Hi,
all right.
Everyone, welcome.
Yeah, so we're going to get started here. And again, this is the Master of Science in Applied Geosciences, and we are now online. So I'm going to just forward to I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the program. So the program started in 2005, and we have over 120 alumni in various fields of geology right now. A lot of environmental consultants, some in the government, such as the Environmental Protection Agency. Some folks were international students, and they've gone back to their countries and are working in like departments of mineralogy, departments of energy, and so forth. So there's lots and lots of alumni to reach out to and talk to as you go through the program. And we do a lot of events with them. So we are actually within the University of Pennsylvania. There are 12 schools. We are in the School of Arts and Sciences. And within the School of Arts and Sciences, it's the biggest school at the university. And so it's so big, we actually have 3 colleges. And we are within the College of Liberal and Professional Studies. What does that mean? That means that when you submit your application, if you have a question about your bill, your tuition bill, that kind of thing, you talk to the College of Liberal and Professional Studies. But if you have an academic question, we are actually within the Department of Earth and Environmental Sciences. So for academics and career advice and all of that, you go to the department for that. All right, so here's a picture of our building, which is Hayden Hall, named after Ferdinand van der Veer Hayden, who's a famous geologist who discovered or described Yellowstone National Park. All right, so what is the format of the program? So it was on campus starting in 2005, and our last intake of on-campus students was actually in spring of 2022. So starting this semester, fall 2022, we are now online only. And we wanted to do this to have a broader audience, more opportunity for people to join the program and still stay where they are and work. Or if you have families and so forth, you don't have to relocate in order to get the degree. All right. So it is a professional master's program, meaning that we are really focused on helping you find a job. At least by the time you graduate. Oftentimes we're able to help you find jobs before you graduate. Depending on your background and your experience, we can often do that. But certainly, at least for the last 4 years, we've had 100% employment for all of our graduates. And so that is a goal we hope to continue into the future, helping you. It's also great, this program is really great for folks who already are in a position, maybe consulting again, or the government, EPA, USGS, and so forth. It's a great opportunity to improve your knowledge and your skills, maybe move up in your organization. We've had a number of students through the years who were in consulting companies and felt pigeonholed into one area and felt like they just couldn't move out of that area. And this program actually helped them to show that they could do other things and were able to move around in their organization rather than changing to another company. So we're there to help you with all of that. Our program areas include environmental geology, engineering geology, and hydrogeology. Those are our focus. We do have an individualized area where you can sort of form your own set of core courses in your electives, and you just work with your advisor to work on that. One of the great benefits of the Department of Earth and Environmental Science at the University of Pennsylvania is the Water Center at Penn. So if you have any interest in water at all, this is just a really great opportunity to work with some really amazing people on some really interesting projects. So you'll work with faculty and outside groups on water policy, hydrology, water infrastructure. They run the whole gamut. And so I invite you to take a look at the website for the Water Center and check out the opportunities that are available to students in terms of research funding. There are seminars, many of them are online, so you can actually go to them. There are conferences that they host, and they often have internships that may in fact be available to you as an online student. Now, just as a note, there is the webinar chat. If you haven't pulled that up, you might want to, because Sally has been putting links to everything that I'm talking about in the chat room, so you can check that out. And again, you can ask either in the Q&A box or in the chat if you have any questions as we go along. All right. Okay, let me just... Okay, about our faculty. So we have both research faculty and professional faculty in our program. So our research faculty are our tenured faculty, our assistant, associate, and full professors. They are working in the areas of soils, climate change, ice mechanics, sediment transport, and hydrology. So there's a nice wide range of opportunities to work with research faculty. And if you think that you might want to go on to a PhD at some point, this is a great opportunity to work with some folks to see if research is where you want to be. Okay, and we can do this with you remotely. But most of you will probably be thinking about going on for a position, a career afterwards, or maybe you're already in a position or a career and you just want to improve your skills and your knowledge and add that degree so that you can move into project management or bill out at a higher rate, that kind of thing. And so we do have a number of professional faculty that are there to give you that real world experience along with your knowledge and skills that you'll learn in the courses. So they're going to bring things that they've done in the field to the classroom. So give you some real world examples and be able to really consult with you. If you're saying, hey, you know what, I've got this site over here that I've been working on and we're really having a problem with this, they can say like, hey, have you thought about doing this? So it's an opportunity to sort of network with these faculty along with learning from them. Most of our professional faculty have a professional geologist license. Some of them also have a professional engineering license, so they have both. And that really gives you that perspective that you might need as you go out and work. All right. Now, the curriculum. There are 12 courses or 12 CUs in the program. A CU at Penn is 3 semester hours, so it's a total of 36 semester hours for the program. There are 9 required courses, and these expand your knowledge base in the geosciences. And I'll go through those in just a minute. And then you get to choose 3 electives, and that's where we want you to sort of focus in one of these areas: hydrology or engineering geology or environmental geology or some area that you're most interested in. We want you to take 3 courses that are related to that field. So you'll choose 3 electives in consultation with your academic advisor. You get an academic advisor when you start the program. One of the really nice things about this program, a lot of geology programs or master's programs expect you to reach out to faculty ahead of time, try to find someone to work with, see if they're available and so forth. With our programs, from the start, from 2005 when we started this program, what we wanted you to do was come into the program with your ideas, but not necessarily a specific person that you're going to work with. Spend a semester here, meet the faculty, learn about what everyone is doing, and then in your second semester, you actually choose who you're going to work with. So it's a much better approach. It's easier for you because you're not trying to locate that right person, emailing all over the department, trying to find someone. We're going to help you with that through that first year of your program. So you can come in without an idea necessarily of exactly what you want to do for your research. By the end of the first year, you'll have that nailed down and have an advisor. So the that is the last piece on this slide, which is you have your 9 required courses, your 3 electives, and then you have your applied project, and that's the project that you'll work with one of these advisors. Right, so let's look at the 9 required courses. So these are setting the foundation for a strong geotechnical background. Now, I had talked to some students recently, potential students who had said, oh yeah, I've already taken hydrology. My question to you is, yes, you've taken hydrology, but have you taken it with respect to professional work? In other words, there's theoretical hydrology, and then there's the hydrology where you're actually using it in the field. But if you really feel like you've already done that, we can discuss ways to substitute in another course if that one isn't working for you. You've been there, done that, okay? But here are the courses. So geocomputations is a course that we want you to take in your first semester, particularly if you have not used calculus in a while. Many of the courses use calculus, and this is a calculus refresher course. If you've never had calculus, this course actually includes 2 weeks prior to the start of the semester where it gets you up to speed on what you need to know to do well in the geosciences using calculus. All right, so you can do that 2 week prior, and then jump into the geocomp course, and by the end of the semester, you'll be able to do the calculations and the projects that will be assigned in some of the other classes. Next is hydrology. Again, it's like an introduction to hydrology. It's mostly surface water, but it's going to give you a good broad base with a good understanding of how you would use this in consulting and other fields. Then there's groundwater hydrology, which is the next step, right? Once you've learned about the basics of hydro, all the calculations and so forth, and then you've got that down, you go into the groundwater and how water flows through the subsurface, different types of materials and pollutants and things like that. Then next is geomechanics solids. We also have a geomechanics fluids. If you're really focused on hydro, you might want to take the fluids instead of the solids. We can substitute those out. Environmental geophysics, which is going to help you with subsurface investigations, and aqueous geochemistry. Again, another water-focused course, but it's going to help you with understanding how different pollutants and things flow through water and move through water and how they react with different substances in the water, okay? Then we have engineering geology, the basics, and then applied engineering geology. So the first one is going to give you the basics of engineering geology, and the second one is going to give you some real world examples that you can look at and see how they've developed and so forth. And then finally is project design. And so project design is designing or writing your proposal to do your research. All right, and typically that project design course is taken in your second semester in the program. All right, or ideally at least in your first year, so you can, again, identify that advisor and move on with your projects. We want you to spend at least a year on your research, and you can do that while you're taking courses, and so we want you to get that in early. All right, any questions so far? Please do throw questions into the chat. All right, we have the project design course. What is that all about? Well, our final project that most people call a thesis, we call it a capstone here at Penn. The reason why we don't call it a thesis is that at Penn, we think of a thesis as more of a theoretical project that you would do in the research program. As a capstone, we're asking you to do an applied project, something that actually needs to get done by an organization, a company, and so forth. It could be any one of a number of organizations that need help, and we'll say, here's the project, you can do it, or you could identify your own project. It could be from your company, or something that you worked on as an undergraduate, you want to continue on with it, but as long as it's applied, so it's something that you have a finite project that needs to be done and you can complete it during your time here at Penn. All right, so it'll help. So this course actually helps you identify that project and design your methodologies, obtain your research advisor. So basically you're going to pick your topic and then we're going to say, okay, talk to this person or that person, they'll help you out and be an advisor for you. So we're going to help you find those advisors. You actually get 2 for your project. And we, again, will help you to identify those folks. And then you'll develop a project management plan to get it all done by the end of your program. So you're not staying here for an extra year or whatnot. Okay, so what's next? So what about this project in particular? So again, it's applied, and it focuses on your career goals. So what are you thinking about doing next, right? Are you just starting out and you're looking for that first job? Are you established and you're just looking to move around in your organization? Is there a particular project that you're working on that you feel like you need more skills for? This is the project that can help you with that goal. Okay. And again, you can work with a current or potential employer on the project. That's always good. And again, applied projects are preferred over theoretical. If you think you're going on to a PhD next, not into the work world, or you're in the work world and you want to go back and get a PhD, you could do a theoretical project, a more research-based that you would publish in a research journal, and we can work with you on that if that's your goal. Okay. Some past projects, just to give you an idea of the scope of projects that we've done. Geophysical investigation of a sinkhole project. All right, so this was one in Pennsylvania that a student looked at where we had a big sinkhole that kept opening. They kept fixing it and it kept opening again. So he went through and did an investigation of it to see what the issue was. We had landslide occurrence in Italy, and that was looking at the cause of that and how to prevent future landslides in the area. And then this last one, find a previously unmapped subsurface fault zone in central New Jersey. This was a student who worked for a consulting company. They had been modeling some groundwater movement, and there was something funky going on. And like, we think there's a subsurface fault, but the client would not pay for an investigation to figure out how extensive the fault was. So he did that as his final capstone project. And it was terrific because then his company was able to use that in future projects to help out. So he had a great benefit to his company. They really appreciated that. He ended up getting a promotion after he finished his degree. So again, you can use this in your organization if it's appropriate. All right, now the 3 electives piece of this. So we've got 9 required courses, right? And then we have the 3 electives. And here's a list of a few of the electives that you can take. There are others, but they include things like geographic information systems, modeling geographic objects. There's also modeling geographic space. So it's different ways of using GIS to do mapping. Okay. We have a contaminated site investigation, remediation, and long-term stewardship. So if you're interested in CERCLA and don't know a lot about it, this is a great course for you. There's landslides. That's a really great engineering geology course to develop your understanding of the causes and ways to prevent landslides. There's the role of the environmental professional in managing contaminated site liability. Fate and transport of pollutants, where we're looking at the movement of contaminants in groundwater and modeling that using ModFlow, which is popular with the EPA. There's a geochemical modeling class that uses FreakC. And there are 2 courses that we actually offer in the summertime on campus. So all the other courses are online. This is one where you come to campus for 1 week and you can take one of these courses. One is field study of soils. You'll be out in the field every day looking at soil and getting into soil pits and learning more about that. And then field methods in geology. And so that course is going to help you if you've never taken a field geology course and you need it for various reasons, and one of them is professional licensure, you can take this course. So it's 1 week in the Philadelphia area. You'll be going out to sites in the Poconos and Western Pennsylvania and so forth. All right. Okay, good. So Carlos is asking if there are petroleum-focused classes, example, geophysics and petroleum geology. Actually not. We are not a petroleum-focused program. We actually are more focused on water, environmental geology, like cleanup of those sites rather than the actual extraction process. The closest we would have is the environmental geophysics course, And again, that's usually looking for like buried drums and other potential contaminants in the ground, as opposed to the actual like speculating or looking for petroleum. Yeah, no problem. All right, so next is professional development. And again, this is a professional master's program, so we are interested in keeping you up to date and moving along in your professional career. And again, some of our students are new to the field. Maybe they just came out of undergrad, and so they're exploring careers. And some of you are, again, established professionals who have been in the field for 5, 10, even more years. And so we take all of that into account and do some career development workshops. And some of those are some of the career development is just you meeting with your academic advisor. Again, you're assigned an academic advisor when you start the program. And these, again, are environmental professionals who are going to be there to give you advice and suggestions on career moves, best courses to take, all of that. We will also be working on networking. We have activities for you on networking skills, which you should be doing while you're in the program. And there's a lot of Penn resources out there, including, of course, career services, but there are others. There are different events and activities that you can participate in as an online student that will help you with your career development. We have research opportunities, again, that you can do as part of your capstone, but also if you want to do additional research projects, those are available to you as well. We also have these events where career services comes in and talks about things like finding the perfect job or finding that first internship. Again, for someone who is new to the field, this might be finding the perfect job, your first one. And if you're a long time person who has been out in the field for a while, has been working, this might be an opportunity to help you find a position at another company, or to help, and you'll see this, negotiating salaries, not only negotiating salaries, but also negotiating opportunities to move up in your organization or move to another division. So lots of opportunities there. We always host an alumni panel. And the alumni panel is some of our alumni coming back to talk about their current positions, what they're doing, courses that help in their careers, things they recommend that you take, and favorite instructors, all kinds of, and you get to ask questions to them about opportunities within their organizations and what they're doing right now and so forth. Now, we do offer 2 courses for professional licensure. So depending on the state you're in, you may not need professional licensure, but if you do, or you want to get the licensure, again, I think in all states, most states, it's optional to get the licensure, but a lot of people would like to do that. The first step is to take the fundamentals of geology exam. Depending on the state that you're in, you may or may not have to have certain courses in order to, to apply to and get to sit for that exam. All right, so 2 of those courses in Pennsylvania in particular, they require structural geology and geology field course. A lot of undergraduate programs are no longer offering field courses, or maybe you didn't get a chance to do it while you were undergraduate. So we now offer a geology field course that is approved by the state of Pennsylvania. And we hope that then it also works for other states as well, right? So we can, if you're in another state and you said, hey, will this field course count for the, to apply to and get into the fundamentals of geology exam, we can check into that for you. But we also have the structural geology course, again, another course that sometimes students miss as an undergrad, or maybe you're coming in with a background that's not necessarily geology focused, maybe mathematics or engineering. This is a course that some states do require for you to sit for the exam. It is state to state. I can tell you that Delaware, which is nearby, does not require either of these courses in order to take the exam. So it does depend, but we can help you to determine what you're going to need in order to sit for that exam. And that's the first step for professional licensure, right? So first you take the fundamentals of geology exam, then you work for 5 years. You have to have a certain number of hours accumulated under a professional geologist, or in some states, a professional engineer. And then you can sit for the final test. And once you pass that, then you get your PG license. Okay, so again, we are there to advise you and help you along that path, and we're always encouraging our students to go for it, particularly if PG is not as an option in their state. Okay, what else? Okay, careers. Where do our students go after they graduate? And so here's a list of some of the companies and organizations where our folks are now. And they, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, some of the government organizations, but we also have consulting companies, Rue, Michael Baker, Arcadis, and so forth. Again, there's an opportunity to network with these folks and talk to them. Even if you are already established and you just want to chat with someone from another organization, or you've heard about them doing a certain project and you want to know how successful it was with their techniques and so forth, this is an opportunity to talk to them through the alumni network. Okay. We also have an opportunity for you to do the multi-master's degree program. If you can spare a year of your time, you can participate in this program. So the first step is to take 8 courses with us. And once you complete 8 courses with us, you can apply to this program. And you would spend the fall semester in in Beijing, going to school there for 3 months, and at Tsinghua University. And then you would go to Paris for the next 4 months and study at Minpri Tech. And then you would do an internship or some sort of applied project for 6 months. And then you would defend your thesis at Tsinghua in the following December. And at the end of that, you've defended to Tsinghua, Minpri. You'll basically get 3 degrees. You'll get a Master of Science in Applied Geosciences from the University of Pennsylvania, a postmaster's degree in environmental management from Minpri Tech, and a Master's of Engineering in Environmental Science from Tsinghua University. Okay, so that's an incredible program. But again, you do have to kind of drop everything and go away for a year while you're studying in both Europe and China. So it's a great opportunity if you can afford to leave home and go there. The cost is not prohibitive. It's really manageable, and you get to travel. You get to see different sites in Europe and China. And it's just an incredible opportunity. Everyone that's done it has found it to be an amazing opportunity to see how environmental issues are addressed in these 3 very distinctive places, right? Europe, US, and China. So, and people have gotten some really incredible jobs after attending this program. So this is something that you can do if you want. And what you would do is just once you get admitted to our program, let us know that you're interested in this program, and we'll set you up to apply for it the following year. So you have to do a year with us before you can apply to that program. All right. All right, student groups. There are plenty of student groups that you can join, which include the Association of Environmental and Engineering Geologists. We have a student group with them. They're the ones that actually put out the Fundamentals of Geology exam, and they do have study groups for the Fundamentals of Geology exam through this organization. But you can also present posters at local and national meetings. The last national meeting was in Las Vegas, but they have regional meetings all over the country. And you can attend regional nights, which is really, really terrific for networking. We also have a student chapter of the American Waterworks Association, and you can attend student nights for that, professional networking opportunities, and conferences as well. We also run a journal called WH2O, Journal of Gender and Water. So if you're interested in gender and water issues, this is an opportunity to get involved with the editorial process. So what we do is articles come in from all over the world, and a faculty member and a student review it together and decide whether or not the article will be accepted to the journal. And then after that, they then work with the author to make sure that it's up to, exactly up to our level before it can be published. So there's opportunities to blog, there are opportunities to write articles for the journal, as well as be part of the editorial process. Other opportunities that are available to you, certainly publishing is always an opportunity. It's not required, but we do encourage it. And you can publish your independent, if you do some sort of independent study work, your actual capstone project, other projects that you might have done outside of the normal class time, like with the Water Center. There are always opportunities there to work with those folks and then publish afterwards. And of course, you can always collaborate with our research faculty at Penn on projects that can also be publishable. So if you're looking to publish, we absolutely have opportunities for that. Again, it's not required, but it is there for you. We also encourage you to attend conferences, both to learn more about a topic. Chris here actually went to a mine reclamation conference to learn more about the topic as he was doing a project on acid mine drainage. He learned a lot from that, and the network he developed was terrific. And I think that led to his job that he ended up with. So capstone ideas are always, when you go to these conferences, you can get ideas for your capstone. And our students have participated in World Water Week in Stockholm, Sweden, the Geological Society of America, the Association of Environmental and Engineering Geologists, as well as many more. So again, if you feel like a conference would be helpful for you, there's so many out there to choose from, and we can work with you to find the one that's perfect for you, related to your topic for your capstone. Internships, if you are one of those folks that are just coming out of undergrad and you're looking for that first job, an internship is really the way to go. And you can find positions at your local consulting companies, Environmental Protection Agency, if there's one in your area, urban research stations, like the U.S. Forest Service has some of these stations in various cities, including Philadelphia. If you're in the Philadelphia area, there's the Delaware River Basin Commission. So there are many, many opportunities to get internships, and we send out weekly emails with job opportunities, internship opportunities that are available to students. And you can choose from any of those, plus work with your academic advisor if there's something specific that you're looking for. All right. Some information about our program in general. Right now we have about 25 active students in the program, and 15 are part-time and 10 are full-time. And that's a really good point to make to you, is that you have the option. If you're working full-time right now, you're already a consultant, or you're working for the government or in some other organization, and you want to do this degree, you can do it part-time. Part-time is considered 1 or 2 courses. Full-time is considered 3 or 4. So you can go either way. And in fact, many of our students have gone back and forth. So they may have started full-time and then switched to part-time as they got a position. We've had other people who have gone part-time through most of the program, and then at the end, quit their jobs and went full-time to get the last coursework done and get their capstone done, and then gone on to a new position. So we're very flexible with that. If you have a busy schedule, you've got a full field season, spring is coming up and you're going to be out in the field every day. Some people will say, hey, I just can't do a spring semester. Take the semester off, maybe take a summer class or a fall class, and just jump right back in. And there's no special paperwork. You can just skip a semester if you need to. All right. We're very flexible, and we're really geared to help you, one, finding the job, or if you're already in the job, keeping that job and being flexible with your work schedule. In fact, all of the courses are online and asynchronous, which means that you can watch the video whenever you want. So you have a week, a module opens, and for 1 week you have that amount of time to complete the video, complete the homework assignments, the discussions, the group work that you might have to do with your peers in that week, and then the next module opens. So although there's no specific time that you have to be in the classroom, okay? So that can work really well with your work schedule. What are the typical majors that students come in with? Of course, geology is the most common, but we also have folks with majors in environmental studies, earth science, engineering, physics, math, and actually we've had a couple of chemists. So as long as there's if your background is more science oriented or you've got a lot of experience in the geoscience field, you are qualified to come into the program. All right, so what are the next steps? Application deadlines. If you would like to start in January, that's our next semester that you can start, because we're right in the fall right now. That's the spring semester, and that's spring 2023, and the application deadline is November 1st of 2023. So you've got a little bit of time here, a couple weeks, to get to that point where you can apply. The fall deadline, so if you'd rather wait and start in fall 2023, our early decision deadline is December 15th. Okay, and that gives you the priority deadline to get in and before all the slots fill up. But our final deadline is April 1st. So you actually have until April 1st to submit. You just have a better chance of getting in earlier in the December 15th round. We do have rolling admissions, so we will typically let you know within 2 weeks of our decision, which can help you with planning. Application requirements. Our College of Liberal and Professional Studies application is online. And I think Sally just put that in the chat room, or she's about to put that in the chat room. There are 3 application essays, which are talking about how you became interested in geology, what you'd like to do with a degree, etc. There is an application fee. You'll need to submit your official transcripts from all colleges and universities attended. If you attended undergraduate programs in the United States, you can submit an unofficial transcript, but once you get admitted, you have to submit an official transcript before you can register for classes. If you attended an international program in another country, you will have to get WES certification. And that certification can take a little bit of time, so you'll want to try to get that done as quickly as possible. And then resume, 2 letters of recommendation, and if English is not your first language, you'll need to do a TOEFL or an IELTS test scores. Okay, there's no GRE requirement. Now, funding your education is always challenging. As you know, subsidized student loans are the most common way that our students have funded their education, as well as company tuition benefits. So if your organization does tuition benefits, that's something that you can do. And external scholarships. Some students have gotten NSF scholarships from Gates Foundation and other places. We have funding within our department for technical paper presentations. So if you want to present at a conference some of your research, we can help you out with that. We have travel subvention awards, so you can travel to conferences. And we have funding for your research materials for your projects. So if you need testing equipment or lab analysis, or a particular piece of equipment to do your project, we can typically help you with that funding. Right. All right, so that's the end of my presentation. Does anyone have any questions about the program? So there's a question from Abigail about whether you can qualify for the PGEO in Canada after the program. And that is a very good question. I'm not sure. So I'm going to look that up for you and see. We've actually not had anyone yet that has actually asked that question. So I'll have to look into that, but I would assume that we're hitting all of the requirements for it. But before I say yes, I will look into that. If you want to reach out to me, I can find out and get back to you. No problem. Just writing myself a note to do that. All right. Any other questions? Well, if there are no other questions, anything, Sally, that you had?
Well, I was just going to say, I put all these links in the chat, and if you go to chat, you can download everything. And I put course lists in there and all kinds of stuff, and I put my email in there. So you just go to the 3 dots where it says more, and I think you can do save chat. There we go. So, and then you could just save that to your desktop.
Great. And also, there was a question about whether there will be funding for the program in the future. We, in the time that we've had the program, we had some funding early on, but unfortunately, we lost that funding for students. So our students have always funded through, again, loans and outside scholarships and tuition benefits. One of the things that we really try hard to do is to find you a position with a company if you're not already with a company with tuition benefits. We tend to guide you towards those companies so that you can qualify for those. So I would say probably not. Again, if you were to work with one of the research faculty, they may have some outside funding for you, but that's always a case-by-case basis. We also occasionally have teaching assistant positions for online courses like GIS. So if you're qualified to be a TA for a course like that, there are opportunities there as well. But they are semester to semester, so and they typically pay on the order of about $4,000 a semester.